Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to be showing you today a very traditional Yemeni dish called Lahm Sughar, which literally translates to like small meat. This dish is made up of beef pieces that have been cut into very small pieces with like a thick gravy. Okay, it's almost like a stew but not quite a stew. um, I mean, you could call it a stew if you wanted, but I usually tend to call it like meat with gravy, okay? The Yemeni version, obviously. Um, Now, keep in mind, some people in Yemen, especially in restaurants, because they want to make a very large volume, they happen to actually add some vegetables to it, like bell peppers and potatoes, and it's still as good. But I'm just showing you the original recipe that I got from my family. It's really delicious the way I make it. So if you don't want to improvise and you just want to make it the way I make it, I will guarantee you it will turn out to be extremely delicious. Okay, especially with if it's served with like rice or some bread, pita bread, or some baguette or any sort of bread, it will be extremely delicious. So please give it a try, and if you want to see how I make it, please keep on watching. Now for the ingredients, what we're going to start with is first of all some boneless beef that has been cut into small strips or small pieces. It's really important that you cut your meat into small pieces because that's the whole point of the dish. The dish is actually called Lahm Sughar, which literally translates to small meat. Now, you don't have to marinate your meat overnight. You could do that if you wanted. The only reason why I did it was because I've already cleaned the meat since yesterday, so I thought might as well also marinate the meat to give it some extra flavor using the same exact spices, which I'm going to go over in just a little bit. Okay? Now, the other ingredient that I'm going to actually be using is 2 medium-sized onions that have been roughly chopped into small pieces. I'm also going to be using some ginger. Now for the ginger, I just left it as 2 large pieces because I want to be able to fish them out at the very end. Okay. I also have some three cloves of garlic that have been grated. Now for the spices, I'm using 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm using 1.5 teaspoons of coriander powder. And I'm also using 1.5 teaspoons of cumin powder. The other thing that I'm not showing over here is going to be some pepper, some black pepper. I'm going to be using about 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Now let's go ahead and start the cooking process. Okay, so I went ahead and added some oil, about 2 to 3 teaspoons of oil, and I'm going to go ahead and add the onions immediately so that we can start the sauteing process. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of salt so that the onions can wilt a little bit faster. Now I pretty much have the stove on high right now so that I can wilt the onions and start sauteing the meat in just a second. Okay, so as you can tell, the onions have browned, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic and ginger. And I'm gonna saute them real quickly so that we can remove the raw taste of the onions and the ginger. And by the way, if it's dry like that, you can go ahead and add a little bit of oil so that it can cook and release its fragrance. And the ginger is actually unnecessary over here. The only reason why I'm gonna add it is just so that it can actually make the meat cook a bit faster. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add our meat right now. And we're gonna saute the meat until they're browned and they're like cooked from the outside, and then we'll add some water to finish the whole process of cooking. Okay, as you can tell right now, the meat is bubbling away and it has browned. And now we're gonna go ahead and add our spices. I'm gonna go ahead and add the coriander powder. And my cumin powder. And I'll go ahead and mix everything together. And I'll leave my salt and my pepper until the very last minute. Now obviously the meat right now is not tender, so what we need to do is add some water and let it actually boil. So I'm adding over here about like 2 cups or so of water, and I'm gonna actually add a little bit more. You pretty much want to cover all of the meat with water so that it can actually absorb all of the water while it's actually cooking, and so that the meat can actually get tender towards the very end. So what we're doing right now is waiting for it to actually boil, and then once it boils, we're gonna actually lower the heat down to like a 3 or a 4, and we'll cover it and we'll let it cook for like about an hour or so until the meat is completely tender, and then we'll add our salt and our pepper. The reason why I'm not adding the salt right now is because it slows down the process and we obviously want to speed it up. So we'll wait until the very end to add our salt. Obviously after it boils completely and it cooks for about an hour or so, all of this water is going to be gone. It's gonna actually decrease, and it's gonna simmer away until it's very minimal amount of liquid in there, until we actually get like kind of like a stew kind of consistency, and it reduces a lot into almost like nothing. Okay, so it's boiling right now, so we'll go ahead and cover it. Okay, so now as you can tell, the water has reduced a lot, the liquid has reduced a lot, and almost like down to a half, and we'll go ahead and add our salt and our pepper right now so that we can flavor the meat. And we'll give everything a mix. So my Lahm Sughar has been simmering away for about 2 hours now, and the meat is now tender and it's ready to be served. As you can tell, the sauce or the liquid in the meat has reduced to about like a quarter. I mean, you could keep simmering it away until there's literally nothing left or there's very little amount left. But I do like the gravy. I do like that little bit of liquid that's within the meat, especially if it's gonna be eaten with rice. So I'm gonna actually stop right there. It's fully cooked and it's delicious. I just tasted it. As you can tell, there's very little amount of spices that were used in this dish, but it still tastes really amazing. Please give it a try. Let me know what you think. This is my family's recipe, obviously. I mean, if you want to add vegetables, you can go ahead and add some vegetables, but I made it the way my mom makes it, without any vegetables, without anything, just the plain meat, and it's delicious. It's straight to the point, and it will hit a certain note in your head. So please give it a try and let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I will see you guys next in another video with another recipe. Please don't forget to subscribe and like my videos, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.